How about a little Thursday night Mountain West basketball in downtown San Diego? It is the Boise State Broncos and the San Diego State Aztecs, number 1 and 2 in the Mountain West Conference. Both teams controlling their own destiny with 3 games left in the regular season. Take a look at the Mountain West Conference standings. Boise State sitting at number 1. San Diego State just a half game back at number 2. If either team wins out, they are the regular season champions. Inside Viejas Arena alongside Doug Gottlieb, I'm Dan Helly. And the straw that stirs the drink, Doug, for Boise State, Derek Alston Jr., one of the best players in the conference, one of the best in the country.
Well, if you haven't seen Derek Alston play, where you been? But he's obviously, his meteoric rise to supremacy in this league and frankly in West Coast basketball has been outstanding. He's really a 2-guard, and he's so versatile at both ends. He's so much fun to watch.
And that's a 2-headed monster. A couple of seniors, Matt Mitchell and Jordan Shackle for the Aztecs.
And Mitchell can play anywhere on the court. He can play 5, he can play 1. And Shackle, when Mitchell was hurt or limping, Shackle has really picked it up. He grew the beard during quarantine. He did P90X, and he has been an absolute monster in what should be his last season on Montezuma Mesa. Of course, all these kids could go back and do it again next year.
First guy I've heard doing P90X in about a decade, but I think it's worked out pretty well for him as we look at the starting lineups. 3 transfers in the lineup for the Broncos and a senior-laden lineup for San Diego State. 4 seniors on the floor to tip things off tonight. This is going to be a good one. It was a stretch of relatively easy games in which San Diego State was on cruise control. That ends tonight, Doug. This is not going to be easy.
Remember, in this league, as you heard from Coach Lavin, look, there's 4 really good teams in this league. And then Nevada at number 5 can beat really anybody. UNLV beat Utah State. But you do not play an even schedule, not just because of COVID, but because of the numbers of the league this year and how everything breaks down. San Diego State had to play Utah State, lost both those games, don't get Utah State here. And Boise State, of course, doesn't get San Diego State on their home floor.
And that's Mitchell with the early miss as the ball goes backcourt, and San Diego State will take over. You could see the physical presence there of Matt Mitchell. And how about Leon Rice in his 11th season at Boise State, the all-time wins leader for this program?
He's been magnificent. Of course, coming over from Gonzaga, part of that tradition of Zag basketball. And I believe that this is the first year Boise is the more talented team than San Diego State.
There's Trey Pulliam hitting a little runner. Pulliam really starting to step up. He's been a very good distributor throughout his career, but he is attacking the basket more as of late. Yeah,
coming in from junior college last year, I think he struggled, and they were just such a cohesive team that at times he would try and do things he didn't have to. He's playing much more under control this season.
And here's San Diego State coming up with the loose ball. Terrell Gomez, the transfer from Cal State Northridge, can fill it up in a hurry. He has been a great addition to this lineup. Started 9 games this year, including the last 8. And there's Pulliam from distance, hitting the 3. So 5 early points for Trey Pulliam. He tied a career high with 18 points against Fresno State last week.
Now, part of it is that Boise defensively, they don't speed you up. But you saw Pulliam last year, he would have rushed it. Everyone got a touch in that possession. He takes his time, they go under the screen, he knocks down a 3.
And there's Alston just inside the line. That's going to be 2.
I mean, there's just sometimes nothing you can do. I mean, his length out in the perimeter and his ability to use it. It's like you can be big, but you got to play big. He does both. And it's not the shorts, not the 7-inch inseam of the shorts that makes his legs look long. He's just long all over.
He is a guy who has changed his body from the time he got on campus. A look there at Brian Dutcher in his 4th season at San Diego State. Been here a long time, though, 22 years.
Well, of course, the long-time right-hand man of Steve Fisher. And what they've done here is incredible. I hadn't won a league championship since 1977, and they've won, 7 in the last 15 years? I mean, it's crazy. And, when he first took over, they were very much in transition, but it's become his program. And that's a big thing, because Coach Fisher, he always let his guys coach, but it's just different when there's a different guy talking to the refs and arguing with the refs. Everybody loves Dutch, but it's really become his program. Ooh, Nathan Mensah, a little bow to the chest. How do you do?
Saying hello to I'm Lawton Armish.
Now, look, I'm going to sound like the oldest guy on earth. Dave Velasquez right there, one of the assistant coaches, is trying to implore his team on how they want to play. They're going to look at it. I think that's a basketball play, but that's 20 years ago. That's what you did to stop a guy from running into rebound, is you get him with your forearm. Now, you got him with his elbow, but that's just kind of a job hazard of being Armish.
Now things have changed. Not quite as much in basketball as they have in football, but things certainly a little different now than they were 10, 15 years ago.
Honestly, the change is there, too. I mean, concussion protocols and elbowing and flagrant 1 and flagrant 2, like, that's a basketball play. Nathan Mensah, of course, they're going to let him play. I like this.
Well, Mensah, big, strong, physical guy. He changes the paint. He changes the game inside.
As good as they were last year. Watch the little elbow. Boom. Oh, right in the solar plexus.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good. I can feel form right now.
If it hurts Armish, it would hurt you. That's just a good way to look at it.
Screen by Mensah, rolls to the basket. Boise State breaks it up. The Aztecs get it back. Here's Mitchell, spin move, and gets it to go. Man, he is so strong.
Well, he's always been strong, but when he got his fitness together a year and a half ago, 2 summers ago, and he lost like 26, 28 pounds, I mean, he just became a completely different athlete. Didn't get tired as much. His defense is better. His movement.
And there's Shackle, and you can see Dennis kind of grabbed him. They're going to call the loose ball foul, rather, on Ray J. Dennis.
Ray J. Dennis is a guy, he's inside of 20 feet. He's an outstanding scorer. Kind of caught it, didn't really have the basketball. Shackle just being a pest. And Shackle with a little showmanship.
But that's what they do.
Yeah, well, throw your head back. That's the big, throw your head back.
San Diego State, the best defensive team in the conference. And they pester everybody.
Look at Boise. They load up on the basketball as well. Loading up means when the ball's on one side, you got everybody on the weak side in the paint. San Diego State, same idea.
Alston. Armish is towering over everybody. Hauls in the rebound.
Armish was so good against Utah State at home. They helped him seal that deal. He's tremendous as a roller passer and a roller scorer.
And the ball knocked out of bounds by San Diego State. You talk about Alston, he's just so difficult to defend. He's good inside, he's good outside. He can just rise over almost anybody.
Yeah, well, like his personal development, and this is what this program has become about. They've obviously added in all of these talented transfers. Justinian Jessup get drafted last year, a guy who was a self-made player. That's part of what's made Boise so good under Leon Rice.
Early timeout. 9-2 San Diego State on top.
The Aztecs came to play. Leon Rice not happy with the officiating, but San Diego State just taking the ball from them a couple of times. Just taking it, get out and run, get the ball to Matt Mitchell. An early 9-2 lead.
Aztecs up early, 9-2, due in part to defense. 7 points coming off turnovers. You can see why they have the best scoring defense in the conference. They also lead the conference in steals and turnover margin.
Well, what's interesting is, and like I'm old school San Diego State, so my brother was an assistant here for 8 years. The first 8 years, Steve Fisher was here, and they used to get after it, switch everything, and really pressure. They had great length. And there was an offseason where they talked about going to what's called the pack line defense. That's the Wisconsin style of defense. And it's really kind of what they're doing now in terms of loading. And the idea is that a lot of these programs in the Midwest that don't have the type of athletes they have, they use it. Well, if you added the length and athleticism, what have we used? San Diego State, they just went to this about a year and a half ago, and it's been so effective. You know, previously, they would shut off the side of the court. You get to one side, and they just pressure you and not let you turn sides of the court. Now, they do let you get to the middle a little bit, but they're funneling you to all the help.
Here's Alston. They're calling Mitchell for the foul here.
And you could have called Alston the original push, and then Mitchell got him, and then he fell down.
Here's Alston again. And it's tipped right to Mitchell. But to your point, they're letting him play a little bit.
Yep.
Gomez cut off the baseline out to Mitchell. He'll pull from the top of the key. Too strong. Marcus Shaver, transfer from Portland in the game. Tyler Kejeb checking in as well. And Mitchell hauls in the long rebound. And they're going to stay here calling the foul on Boise.
I mean, you want to play Division I college basketball? You're going to have to guard that guy. Just a freight train coming at you. Matt Mitchell and the Aztecs. Montezuma trying to get his revenge.
Welcome back to San Diego. Aztecs and the Broncos. San Diego State with the early lead. Both of these teams expected to make the NCAA tournament. According to Fox Sports bracketologist Mike DeCourcy, has Boise State, San Diego State, Colorado State all in. Utah State among his first 4 out. Boise State had that tremendous run early in the season when they won 13 games in a row. They lost their first game to Houston, then ripped off 13 straight wins, hit a little rough patch. Now they've won 4 in a row. You can see 2 quad 1 wins for Boise State. For San Diego State, a similar type of season. They hit a little rough patch where they lost 3 out of 4. But look at that net ranking, 25th in the nation. And DeCourcy predicts them to be a 9 seed as they are in the midst of an 8-game win streak.
It has nothing to do with living out here and watching the Pac-12, Mountain West, the WCC. Just watching this beautiful inbounds play, moving screen.
Wow. No wonder it looks so easy.
Because he raised his elbows up like I thought he was on the screen, but that was a layup. Ryan Dusher's like, are you kidding? That's how we taught him to do it.
Looked textbook to me, but apparently not, as Boise State tries to get on the board. Just 1 field goal so far for the Broncos.
Anyway, I think the conference is massively underrated. When you have NBA players, Derek Alston, Nemi Keita, I'll see tomorrow night. See it on Fox Sports 1. They take on Nevada. It's the 5th best team. Nevada's they're pretty good. Really good.
It's a talented conference. It's very top-heavy.
Yes, the bottom is not good. There's no other way. I mean, New Mexico and Air Force.
Fine. You look at the record, the top 4 teams in the Mountain West, 30-0 against the bottom 5 teams as Pulliam hits again. So 7 points out of the 11 scored for San Diego State belong to Trey Pulliam.
Right, and it's hard. It's hard to fathom this when you're on the committee, but again, remember, some of these schools have been shut down for weeks. Obviously, California schools struggle to get in the gym.
Armish grabs another board.
He's such an important part of what Boise does.
Shaver to Alston.
I mean, think about it. You got 2 teams at the bottom of this league. New Mexico was in Lubbock for a couple months, and then they were in St. George, Utah. San Jose State was playing at an athletic club.
Yeah.
Played Boise State at an athletic club in Phoenix.
The vast majority of the season on the road for both of those teams. I can't imagine how difficult that was for those programs.
So they got makeup games coming up next week. But Utah State beat San Diego State twice, and they're the team that's on the way out. They're right now on the out per Mike DeCourcy. I would tell you that the team that everyone has in Mensa with the dunk.
Wow! Great pass from Pulliam to Mensa, who throws down the youth. All San Diego State early. Bryce checking in the game. He's off the mark from distance. Adam Seiko is checked in the game for San Diego State. Here's Pulliam again. Armish goes on the ground. Boise State on the run. He caught to Alston. And then Alston is fouled by Mensah down low.
Just a beautiful set San Diego State runs where you back screen the ball screen. So here's Trey Pulliam. He comes off the ball screen, and then you see Adam Seiko just sets a little ball screen on a back screen on Armish, and that frees up the wide open dunk.
Mensah has started every game the third leading scorer for San Diego State at just under 9 points per game.
And that was kind of the unspoken part of last year's incredible San Diego State team was he was hurt. They were playing that well without a dynamic, athletic, defensive center who could really finish. They were still that good.
Ball goes down for a minute as Aycock falls, gathers himself, and gets back up. Pulliam, you can just see the smothering defense here from the Aztecs. And that is a tough three-point attempt for Boise State coming from Devernaire Dutrieve. Stepped out of bounds. Did Lamont Butler, talented freshman.
Well, he's cycled through his bench a little bit earlier than he traditionally does with this team. Just not happy with what he got out of the gate. And Aycock bring the ball up the court.
Dutrieve guarded by Butler. Rice thinks about it again. Driving bucket coming from Dutrieve. Another tough shot gets it to fall.
Dutrieve, he had a layup the first time Max Rice got in his way. I was like, no, I can take Seiko. You don't believe me, I'll do it again.
Dutrieve, one of 2 Arizona transfers on the roster.
Aycock being the other one, obviously. Super talented kids.
And there's Pulliam again.
Pulliam is killing. They have to change their ball screen coverage. They're sinking, and so there's no big man really there to help. The one time they helped, they grew a lot.
I mentioned earlier, 18 points, a season high for Trey Pulliam. Had that last week. He's already at 9. We're not even halfway through the first half. Rice kind of steps into that one. And Seiko fights for the rebound. Rare turnover for Pulliam. Aycock open. Mitchell with the board. It looks like he might have taken a hand to the face there. Indeed, he did. We're going to take a quick break. San Diego State on fire. Trey Pulliam, 9 early points for the Aztec. And Mr. Mitchell, always doing good things, as is the big man, Nathan Mensah.
Can we?
A lot of great players coming through this program. Malachi Flynn, part of that 30-2 team last year. Xavier Thames, and of course, the great Kawhi Leonard, all part of the Aztec lore. Pretty good trio right there, my friend.
We have 2 of them are transfers from Washington State, right? Of course, Kawhi, who's gone on to superstardom, didn't get offered a scholarship by anybody in the Pac-12. I mean, it's not like they didn't know. He was right up the road, Riverside.
Yeah, doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, I mean, he played inside in high school, but he just developed, and he's become a superstar.
Now here's a look at Matt Mitchell. So he gets hit here. You can see Max Rice going for the loose ball, and that bloodied Mitchell's lip a little bit during the timeout. Had that worked on, should be really good. Do not believe that stitches are
No, he's out. Sorry.
He will be in.
Yes.
Soothsayer. That got like Soothsayer. Komaya too short. Boise State grabs the rebound. That's Kijek.
I'm big on this. First time you touch the basketball like Tobias did, you don't shoot. Unless you get wide open, you got layup. And Rice is not shot.
Well, he would pull the trigger. His 3rd shot of the game already.
Boise State just having trouble. They figured out a little bit defensively. Obviously, San Diego State kind of cycling through all of their bench as well. But missing some open shots, just as you pointed out. Kind of out of rhythm.
0 for 7 from three-point range so far. Here's Dutry. Kijab off the mark. So that's 0 for 8 from distance here for Boise State in the first half. And Tomajic stays with it. Tomajic, the grad transfer from Maryland, played less than 60 total minutes for Maryland last year. And he's been playing a ton here, especially the last 10, 12 games. Just plays hard all the time. That's one of the things Brian Dutchin loves about it. Ooh, they're going to call the foul on Seiko. Looked like he had all ball there on Kijab for a minute.
I think he did. Seiko has earned his minutes with his defensive effort.
Oh, he got him on the arm there.
Did he?
Yeah.
He's doing that little hand thing.
Yeah, I think he got him. Good call. Of a Kijab. Transfer from Oregon makes the first.
Well, that's the thing that separates this Boise club is you have a lot of, you have 2 Arizona transfers, you got an Oregon transfer. And it doesn't mean that every player that plays at the Pac-12, especially Oregon, Arizona, that's at the very top of the Pac-12. That's the uber elite, if you will. But when you have high major kids transferring down slightly a level, it's just a different caliber of athlete. So you combine that with Derek Alston, that's why this Boise State team is so incredibly talented. Not that San Diego State's not talented, but this isn't their most high-ranking recruits or whatever, as they've had.
Not easy, though, with all these transfers to get everybody on the same page, to know each other's game, to get them to mesh.
Well, plus, dudes sitting down, they're like, now in Boise State now, I should be playing.
Right.
Hey, we got a lot of guys.
Butler inside to Tomajic. And foul called on Boise State.
I really like him. Butler has come in, and this is what you have to do when you're a backup point, is come in and kind of change the tempo of the game. He's feeding Tomajic. He's turning the corner on ball screens. Tomajic has got him pinned. Talk about high major transfer.
Seiko.
2 for $1.
There you go.
Give him another one.
Shackle, though, fighting for the rebound. And ball ends up going out of bounds off of Boise State. And San Diego State's going to get another shot. 17-6 with 9:32 to go here in the first half.
This is not what we thought we'd see when we saw music. Boise can really score and play. San Diego State can defend, but can also score.
Well, it's the #1 scoring team in the conference against the best defensive team in the conference, and so far, the defensive team has an advantage. Shackle looked like he wanted a foul there. That was a tough shot. He's still wondering why it wasn't called.
One of the reasons San Diego State is so hard to play against is that backdoor cut.
Great pass down low to Alston. Dutry, you could see that coming. 17-8, Boise State's going to find their way back into the game. And there's Butler going against the much taller Lucas Milner, who's been getting some serious minutes as of late.
He has, and he's been doing a good job. And that's a perfect example. When you're Milner, you have that kind of size advantage. He didn't leave his feet. Butler just kind of threw it into his hand. But this is one of the things San Diego State does, is by picking up 94 feet, they take you out any transition game, and they make you kind of line up and, usually take 24 seconds or so to defend them. Another turnover for Boise.
There's Mitchell.
Too big, too strong.
You could just see him using that off arm a little bit, and he is.
It's his shoulder, too. I mean, you just look at Kijab's body, it's long. It's not like he's thin and weak. Mitchell just gets by you, gets that shoulder into your gut, takes his time.
Kijab is listed at 220. Mitchell's listed at 235. Mitchell looks like he outweighs him by about 40 pounds.
Well, I mean, he used to. This guy, he has a scorer's ego. He wants to win games and win it score. But what was happening before he changed his body was he'd just get tired, and he'd fall down, or make a mistake. He has made himself into an incredibly dynamic player in a small package.
Played in 111 straight games, and he hyperextended his knee. He had to wear a custom knee brace for a little while as the ball almost goes back court, but he caught. Able to crowd. Look at the defense. San Diego State forcing another turnover. Marcus Shaver triple teamed on the baseline.
Shackle's barking there. He's barking.
Rice is barking right now too.
Well, part of it is if you can play 9 or 10, you can play as hard as you can, as long as you can, then we'll get somebody else in. That same play, they got the lob in. Boise did a better job defending it this time.
Keyshawn Johnson, the most athletic player on this team, and you can see why there. Too physical, too strong. 22-8. Just under 8 minutes to go here in the first half at Viejas Arena. One of the toughest places to play normally in the conference. No fans here tonight, obviously.
We're sitting on Gucci Road. This is normally where all the high-dollar San Diegans sit.
That's right. Open three, and Dutrieve hits it. First three of the game for Boise State now. They're now 1 of 9.
Well, let's see if Boise State can start to get a rhythm offensively.
He's talented. They're deep. They're going to find it at some point. Mental rolling to the basketball game. This time Mitchell just tries to shoot himself. Finally, Boise State getting some good ball movement, and open three drops. First three-pointer of the game for the Broncos. Welcome back to Viejas Arena. 22-11 here. It has been all Aztecs early. And the one guy in the starting lineup who averages the least points per game is Trey Pulliam, just 6 points per game on the season, but 9 already.
Well, he's been completely in control and not rushing things and kind of dominating when he's been in. Even playing off the weak side, taking his time and going right at Derek Alston and splash in your eye. His mom was a great pitcher in softball. She pitched a perfect game to beat UCLA in the national championship game. Dad played hoop at A&M as well. And here's the kid who grew up in Texas, didn't have an offer, D1 or D2 coming out. Went to JUCO. Last year came off the bench. Was a little erratic at times. And boy, the game has slowed down for him, and he continues to blossom.
Against Fresno State, they were pressuring everybody on the perimeter, and they were perfectly content to let Pulliam shoot. He did, and he hurt him with 18 points, and he's hurting the Broncos tonight as it's another turnover by Boise State. Mitchell trying to go to work down low, gathers himself and draws the foul.
Look, Dutrieve is a good athlete, but that dude is, and he's so, Matt Mitchell knows how to use his body. He signed to play at Cal State Fullerton, got his release. Think about how dynamic he'd be in the Big West, but he comes here to Montezuma Mesa. And he is the perfect hybrid player. He's more of a scoring version, but he can play the 1, he can play the 5.
When you talk about hybrid players, he does everything. He ranks in the top 10 in 8 different categories in the career record books here at San Diego State.
I think they made him mad. He cut his lip. He did not smile at all. Can you cut my lip?
And it is Mitchell and Pulliam leading the way in scoring so far for the Aztecs. 24-11, just under 6.5 to go here in the first half. Aycock to Alston. Alston guarded by Mitchell. Step back three. Tough shot short.
They can get nothing going.
They're now 1 of 10 from three-point range. And when you look at those three-pointers, there's only 3 or 4 of them that would say that's a good shot.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. it's not, they're not missing open shots. Like, you know, you can make a miss or whatever. They can't get anything going.
It's this defense from the Aztecs. It just makes everything so difficult. Shaver trying to drive on the much taller Mensah. Nothing going. Here's Mitchell.
Who's really checking? Just want to get Mensah, pull him in the ball screen action, and pull him do all the work.
Again, Mensah going to the basket. That ball's knocked out of bounds by San Diego State. Broncos going to take over. Terrell Gomez checking back into the game. And that has been a guy that Brian Dutcher has loved. A grad transfer from Cal State Northridge. Averaged essentially 20 points per game last year. One of the premier three-point shooters in the country. What a great addition that is to this team. And another turnover from Boise State. That's Dutry, called for the travel. Boise State just can't get anything going, not just the shooting, but defensively. San Diego State just turning up the pressure. That's now...
It's 11 turnovers for Boise State?
10 turnovers for Boise State. 11. That was the 11th turnover of the game.
I mean, we still have 5 minutes to go in the first half. They're not pressing. Yeah. I mean, part of it's San Diego State, part of it is Boise's playing awful.
It's almost like the Broncos just need one guy. They just need one guy to heat up a little bit.
Reed takes the three and he misses. I'm going to disagree with you in that there's no 10-point play, right? There's no one guy. That's the problem, is they are kind of a little bit all trying to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Austin is one guy who can carry you, but they're really getting into him. And it's like these San Diego State guys, they take it personal. They just do. It's how they get themselves kind of mentally fired up.
Well, one of the things Boise State prided themselves on, obviously Austin leads the way, was being 9 deep and having 9 guys.
Right. Well, that's their strength, right? The strength in numbers. They just have talent all over.
There's Dutry again, and he gets this three-pointer to fall. His second of the game, so Dutry leading the way with 8 points.
Well, that's a big, when you're playing San Diego State in this style of, it's called loading to the ball, kind of passed-in defense. You got to throw some skip passes and make some jump shots.
Shackle.
They call it, one ref called for a foul. It wasn't, one called a travel.
Yeah, I saw both calls, and it looks like they're going to call a foul here.
It wasn't a travel.
And looks like they agree with you. Lamont Butler checking back into the game. Trey Pulliam takes a seat. Pulliam been playing so well, as is Butler, really. Not playing like a freshman anymore.
It's one of the things that affects some of these numbers. You look and you're like, oh, Trey Pulliam averages like 6 a game. Like, yeah, but they only play in the mid-20s in terms of minutes. Butler comes in. Quickly gets one up. That's why Pulliam's mad. They're running to play for a point guard to get a pin-down jump shot, and he came out. Oh, man.
Another three, another miss. And they're going to call the foul on Shackle. Aycock, strong rebound for Boise State. A 10-point lead for San Diego State with under 4 minutes to go. Back after this. All right, sir, thank you very much. Dan Helly, Doug Gottlieb at Viejas Arena here in San Diego, where it has been all Aztecs so far. Brian Dutcher, I can't commend him enough for how good he has been since he took over this program 4 years ago. But how about in the last 2 years? 47-6 over the last 2 seasons.
Well, look, if we're having a real discussion on what changed, they got back to what in basketball we call OKGs, our kind of guys, right? And if you look at 2 years ago, when they had a really disappointing season, Devin Watson, everybody wanted. Jalen McDaniels, I mean, that guy walked off the bus, you're like 6'10", 200, elegant, looks like an NBA draft pick. But they didn't have the type of guys. Like Matt Mitchell, that's a San Diego State type of dude. Right. Comes in a little heavy, a little under-recruited, changes his body, dynamic all-league player. Jordan Shackle just got better and better and better. Those are San Diego State type of dudes. And yeah, they've always taken transfers. But they're much more of a team the past 2 years.
2 misses in a row. The last one from Alston.
And obviously last year they had Malachi Flynn, who was just, spectacular. He had a Xavier Thames type of takeover season.
Gomez from the corner got it. Malachi Flynn along with Yanni Butzel and KJ Fagan. 3 transfers that were all excellent in that 30-win season.
They were so good, so deep. A team that had a legit chance to win a national championship. But yeah, like this, Brian Dutcher, he did a lot of the coaching when Steve Fisher was here, because Fisher lets his guys coach. But he had to get kind of the chemistry right, and it's been right the past 2 years.
Alston again from distance gets this one to go, his first 3-pointer of the game. So he's 1 of 5 from 3-point.
But this is what I was saying about you can't win it by yourself. They were looking on the strong side. San Diego State sinks in a bunch, helps kick it. That's a good shot. It's not just that it went in; it's a high percentage shot because he had space to get into his routine.
Mitchell trying to draw the foul, and we're going to be going the way off the ball foul call. 16 3-pointers attempted from Boise State so far.
Well, and again, that's a product of how San Diego State plays defensively, where they just load up and they dare you to shoot over a long arm, and then they really compete on the glass. Not a smart foul for Nathan Mensah. He couldn't get the rebound, so just a little shove in the back. Now he's going to go sit, but it puts Boise and Armouche in the bonus. And when points are at a premium, you don't want to just give them away with a foul on the offensive end.
Armouche, a 65% free throw shooter. Misses that one. Still a 10-point game. Just under 2.5 to go here in the first half. Mitchell guarded by Aycock. Here's Gomez. So quick, loses the handle for a minute. Shot clock winding down to Majic.
Now, Boise State woke up, and I would credit Aycock as the reason they woke up in that possession. And Matt Mitchell wanted to take him. He tried once, he tried twice, he tried a third time, and Aycock said, and then he let him know about it. And that really picked up everybody defensively. Mitchell this is one of the only issue I have with Matt Mitchell is he gets a little too thirsty. He gets a bucket or two, and now he goes into, I'm going to go for 30, instead of letting everybody get a touch.
Certainly not unique to Mitchell. In terms of people getting a little thirsty out there in the court, sometimes you need a heat check. And there's Seiko on Alston. The turnaround too strong. Armouche can't corral it. Butler loses the handle for a moment. Baseline doesn't go. Here comes the Broncos. Shaver to Aycock. Alston again guarded by a smaller Gomez, who strips the ball. Now the Aztecs take over. Boise State won for their last 8 from the field. Now have 12 turnovers in the game.
Oh, and they missed the front end of 1-on-1. Outside of that.
Butler again, tough shot.
But I would say Aycock is competing defensively. Competing.
There's Alston again to Majic, has a hand in his face. It's in and out. Butler grabs the rebound. Timeout called by Brian Dutcher with 28 seconds to go here in the first half. Still a 10-point lead for San Diego State. Sunday, the best season ever continues as the NASCAR Cup Series heads to Homestead Miami Speedway for the Dixie Vodka 400. See who's going to rise up, take the crown at the season's first mile-and-a-half track. All the action starts Sunday, 3:30 Eastern on Fox and anywhere on the Fox Sports app. NASCAR, so they get in full swing.
So Leon Rice has done an incredible job with player development, right? Started with Jalen Hutchinson, who grew up just down the road, Justinian Jessup, and this is his latest project, is Derek Alston. He's been struggling. Both ends of the floor just going right at him, attacking in his chest defensively, turning the ball over, looked out of rhythm. Finally got a three, finally got a rhythm. And all of a sudden now, he hits a three, he's defending better. Now, he's missed his last two, missed a kind of a Nowitzki fade, then missed a pull-up three. But when he makes it, he's the guy who needs to make a shot or two to feel good, and then everything else kind of comes together.
Also, such an incredible story. Redshirted his first year on campus. When he arrived, he was weighing 148 pounds, packed on about 15 and another 10. He's at 190 now.
Like, you think he's skinny now, imagine him 50 pounds ago.
I can't picture 6'9", 148 though.
He had to run around the shower to get wet. Trey Pulliam probably in a ball screen here. Goes screen.
5 seconds. Here's Pulliam. We've seen that shot a couple of times. Not going to go this time for the Aztecs. Did he get that?
Yes, he didn't even jump. He didn't even jump. He didn't move.
Goodness.
he may have said what I was thinking. Like, are you kidding me? Watch this. He misses. He doesn't move. He's just watching. I think he thought the half was over. He gets it. And he just up. I'm going to just throw it up there. And yeah, okay, sure. Exactly how he meant to run it. It's good coaching.
Trey Pulliam with 11 points leading the way for San Diego State in the first half. And what a great first half it has been for the Aztecs. Viejas Arena, it's 29-17. San Diego on top of Boise State. We're going to let you go out to Rob Stone and Steve Lavin for the FS1 College Hoops halftime show coming up right after this. Back in San Diego, all Aztecs here at Viejas Arena, 29-17 at the break. Dan Haley, Doug Gottlieb with you here. It is the #1 defensive team in the Mountain West, and you can see why tonight. Boise State having trouble holding on to the ball, Doug.
And look, this is a high-powered offensive team, the one that not only averages 77 a game, and they got 17 in the first half, but they're not a high turnover team, right? They're just not. They average like 11 turnovers a game. They have 11 in the first half. And I don't think it's that some of it's they're not playing well, but a lot of it is San Diego State's tenacity defensively. And then offensively, Matt Mitchell got popped in the mouth a little bit. And then wiped it off, and he made the Broncos pay. At his best, going downhill, spinning like a whirling dervish, getting out in transition, sticking his shoulder in to the opponent, and getting buckets.
Yeah, it's been all Matt Mitchell and Trey Pulliam in the first half. They've combined for 20 points. The rest of the team just 9. San Diego State, outside of playing defense, nothing pops off the board in terms of numbers-wise offensively for him, just playing good basketball.
Not turn the basketball over, I think, is the big thing. 12 points in the paint.
And Boise State desperately trying to make something happen here. Fast early start in the second, give him a little confidence. Armish. Guarded down low by Mensa. Alston had 4 of those turnovers by himself in the first half. Shaver back down low to Armish. They cut off the mark. Mensa grabs the board. Gomez. Wow. 3 for 3 in his last game against Fresno State from distance. And he is 2 for 2 from three-point range tonight. And that's a good D on Armish. Grabs the rebound and loses it. Gomez, so quick, comes up with the loose ball. Gomez again. On the taller Armish. And 2 quick baskets from Terrell Gomez.
Gomez, of course, he's more of a scoring guard. He's not really a true point. Pulliam's more their true point guard.
Boise State comes right back and answers. Alston from deep. And it's a 14-point spread here. We are a minute and a half into the second half. Pulliam so good. See Gomez think about it for a minute. Gets it back out to Pulliam. Good defense from Ray J. Dennis. Shot clock down to 5.
Wow, is that good?
Going to call a foul on Dennis on the ground. Looks like he got tangled up with Mensah.
I mean, look, Boise State, they played good defense for the first 20 seconds or so of the possession. But Pulliam keeps coming. Comes back off the ball screen, kind of snakes back the other way and goes right into the chest of Armouche. And because Armouche is matched up with him, that leaves Mensah with a little guy underneath.
Mensah gets knocked over. Another loose ball foul on Boise State.
And Leon Rice is given that's a flop. There's actually a signal for the flop, right? Where you get the officials have a signal because it's a call in college basketball. Right. You get one warning and then you get a technical foul.
And that's what Rice wanted.
And I think he was right. Nathan Mensah is a big old dude. Somebody knocked him over. He shouldn't be falling down.
Here's Shaver trying to go the distance. And you can see the quick hands there from Pulliam. Strips him on the way up. Pulliam loses key jab off the Mensah screen, and that's another bucket for Pulliam. So he is sitting at 14 points, leading the way for the Aztecs.
He is dominating with the use of ball screens. They go under, he's been shooting and making. They go over, and he starts going to work.
Alston again. Mitchell had a hand up. Didn't phase him. So Alston with a couple of threes here in the second half. He is 5 of 11 from the field. 13 points in the game for Alston.
And he just said, not so politely, get me the ball. Might have been one other word out of it, but
we'll leave that out.
Yes.
Armish on Mensah. Smooth little bucket there by Mensah. And here's Alston again. Speaking of smooth, just making it look easy over Mitchell. Wow.
He's heating up.
Yes, he is. Now shooting 50% from the field after that start.
Little Dirk fade, hit 2 threes. Now he hits a fadeaway.
Just so long. Gomez, they call him Tigo. Again, Pulliam using the screen off Mensah, gets it right back to him, and then he is rejected down low by Kija. Foul called, and it goes for Alston. Speaking of heating up, man, quickly.
He's got that look. He's got that, I want to win this game by myself if I have to. And a great nice block shot on Mensah, who kind of went up a little too soft and then just used his length. And there's nothing really Pulliam can do. He got 2 choices. Let him go or foul him.
17 points in the game for Alston. The rest of the team has 10 combined.
Well, he's got 10 in the last 4 minutes. Actually, the last 4 times he's touched the ball.
Alston is the one guy in this team who can heat up in a hurry.
But again, this is kind of my point about this league, is when you have a player of that level of talent in college basketball, sorry, you're better than some of the mid-majors. They just don't have closers like a Derek Alston.
Shackle on the reverse doesn't go. Tomayish there to clean it up. And there's Armish with the hoop and the foul. Nice pass from Alston. And you're starting to see Boise State pick up a little bit of steam here.
They are. And credit Derek Alston for not being a pig and finding a teammate. But these guys, Gomez 3, Pulliam 3. Don't go away, because this guy, an All-American, Derek Alston, he ain't going quietly tonight. Broncos down 11. That guy's feeling it.
Saturday with the Big Ten title race coming down to the wire. The third-ranked Michigan Wolverines going head-to-head with Trace Jackson Davis in Indiana. That's Saturday, 11:30 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Meanwhile, in the Mountain West, they're trying to get 4 teams into the tournament. Top 2 teams in the conference right now. Boise State, San Diego State, a half game back. Both of these teams control their own destiny, Doug.
And I'll be on my way to Logan, Utah. Check out the Aggies. They take on Nevada. They've got a very, very talented team as well. But yeah, I mean, look, if you win both these games, you win the league. Of course, San Diego State only 11 league wins. That's because they had 2 forfeits from Nevada. They haven't from New Mexico. They haven't gotten credited for. They have some makeup games next week.
They got kind of partial credit for those. They're going to use those in conference standings and tiebreakers and seeding for the conference tournament.
Is there any extra credit for the professor? I need some extra credit.
Don't we all, brother? San Diego State coming to this game on an 8-game winning streak. Boise State coming in having won 4 in a row. And Brian Dutcher giving the official a little talking to.
Jim Shipper called a moving screen, and part of that is Leon and his staff have been, on about a moving screen. That's not a moving screen. That is a horrific call.
Looked like he was.
It wasn't me. It's not that. Sometimes you stick out a hip. That he actually did it exactly as you're supposed to. He stopped. He handed off. He didn't move. He didn't move his arms. That's one of those. The coaches were so in his ear about a moving screen. All right, here, I'll call one. Now sit down and don't talk for the rest of the game.
Three-pointer short. Tego comes up with the rebounds for San Diego State and takes it in by himself. He is a playmaker.
He's built like an absolute tank, and then you're like, why did he start glass? They got somebody got the US like, that's why.
5'8", 165. Grad transfer from Cal State Northridge. And they're going to call an offensive foul on KJ. You don't like that either, do you?
No!
Said he hooked him.
But he didn't use the hook. Look, he didn't go anywhere.
A little ticky-tack.
Mike Cyphers is a good ref, so I'm sure by letter of the law, but spirit of the law, like, what is the point of calling that?
Well, they let him play early. Maybe they're making up for it now.
Yeah.
San Diego State up by 13, just under 15 to go in the game. Seiko checking in. Tomajic in as well for the Aztecs, and Pulliam turns it over. Boise State on the move, and finally there.
Well, that's only their second bucket off of the turnover. It's 21-4 in terms of off the turnover. Part of it is that Tomajic is very tentative to set his ball screens because he got called for one where he didn't move.
Tomajic cutting to the hoop right there.
Hit you with ball screen after ball screen, the flare screen.
Tomajic from distance, and he hits it. So just 5 threes in the game for San Diego State, and for Tomajic, that's his first of the game. Don't know if that's exactly how they drew it up, but it worked out. There you go.
Does it matter?
It does not, but as long as it goes through the hoop.
No.
Okay.
Yes!
Brian Dutcher's troops now up by 14. And even during that 8-game winning streak, when they were winning by 26 points per game, listen, they weren't playing the cream of the crop in the conference, but he never stopped coaching. He was always meticulous. They called a team meeting after beating Air Force by 37 because they were up by 52.
Yeah. Took the foot off the gas. No, it's a hard thing to maintain, to not get sloppy, to have guys not get selfish and try and get your points. Tomajic, by the way, that was Tomajic's 5th 3 of the year, 5 of 21 in the year. So not a terrible shooter, but when that's going, you're in trouble.
Alston gets a hand on it, knocks it out of bounds. going to stay here with San Diego State.
They haven't trailed in the second half in any of those games. Again, the bottom of the league is the bottom of this league. And that sounds like a madness. The bottom of this league is the bottom of the league. Thanks, Scott Lee. You get paid for that analysis, but there is a massive drop-off.
And just 2 seconds on the shot clock. Tomajic had to get rid of it. But it is, to your point, we mentioned this earlier, the top 4 teams 30-0 against the bottom 5 teams in the conference. Well, there are the really good and then the really not so good in the Mountain West this year.
Nice way of putting it.
A nice guy. Baseline move by Ray J. Dennis. 46-34 now, with just over 12 to go.
You're Boise, you got to dig in and decide we're going to start getting stops. Austin gave you a boost offensively, but they can't stop anybody.
Foul called on Dutrieve. Talk about Joshua Tomajic. As we mentioned earlier, the one thing Brian Dutcher said about him, he plays hard all the time. Did not talk about his three-point shooting, so that's a bonus. Originally, this series between San Diego State and Boise State was going to be the end of the regular season for both teams, but the Mountain West has rescheduled several games that were missed because of COVID earlier in the season. Fresno State going to be going to Boise. They play on March 2nd. And then San Diego State has to go to Vegas to play the Running Rebels and then come back and then go back to Vegas for the conference tournament. Big deal, no big deal.
It's honestly the underrated thing in this conference is when you have to play 2 in Logan, you have to play in altitude. You have to play in Wyoming, you have to play in altitude. Vegas is actually a little bit altitude. Nice little backdoor play.
Mitchell throws it down.
When you're stealing points in an ATO, that's beautiful coaching. It's a big deal. I mean, UNLV is with Bryce Hamilton is capable of beating you. He had 27 last night. They lost to Fresno.
Fair to say that any team that feels like they're already a lock for the NCAA tournament probably doesn't want to play an inferior team if they don't have to.
Yeah, because the win doesn't really do much for you. But, I mean, I don't know. Basketball players play basketball. You want to play tonight? Yes. Or you'd like to practice? I would prefer to play.
As would Lamont Butler. Nice take by the freshman. Here's Alston again. And he hits another 3 for Alston. It's his 4th 3 of the game. That puts him at 21 on the night.
Nothing you can do. But again, he has all of his 3s. The ball starts on one side and gets to him on the weak side, so they're slow on closeouts. Derek Alston put on a little bit of a show. Get on the strong side, flare screen for the shooter, splash. Back at Montezuma Mesa, San Diego State leads by 13. Alongside Dan Haley, I'm Doug Gottlieb. And Dan, this is how they're getting Derek Alston going is Ray J. Dennis has the basketball. Go ahead and roll it, guys. And as he penetrates, frees it, they're setting flare screens for him. That's Emmanuel Acod coming in and setting what's called a flare screen. And because San Diego State is so loaded to the basketball, they're all in help. They have their feet in the paint. That when you set that flare screen, the weak side is open. We'll see what adjustments San Diego State uses.
You can see the numbers here for Derek Alston. Just 7 points and 4 turnovers in the first half. 14 points already in the second. So he's certainly pacing the way for the Broncos, who are down by 13 with just under 11 to go.
Now, you'll watch San Diego State within their half-court offense. They'll do the same thing at the end of shot clock when somebody drives. They'll automatically set a flare screen with the non-shooting big.
Key jab on Butler. Butler pulls from distance. He's short. That's Johnson with the rebound, so they're going to set things back up. Mitchell again. Elbow jumper. Tomajic with the offensive rebound. Butler fouled. He's going to be going to the line. Mitchell, once again in double figures. This guy, get a good look at Max Rice, the coach's son there. Here's the drive and the foul.
But it's all set up by the offensive rebound, right? If you get one extra offensive board, and all of a sudden now the defense, we got to guard again. Riverside Poly product. Of course, Riverside part of it's called the IE, the Inland Empire. That's where Kawhi Leonard came from. They've done very well recruiting in the IE, Sacramento, obviously in Los Angeles as well, and in parts of San Diego. That's how they built this program.
He was the 30th ranked point guard coming out of high school, past Reggie Miller at Riverside Poly is the all-time leading scorer. Not too shabby there, Doug. That rolls in. A 66% free throw shooter from the line is Butler.
Reggie didn't play with the three either. That's more being fair. He did okay for himself.
That he did.
And more of those flare screens on the weak side to Boise State.
Aycott got it.
You know, Aycott has struggled all year with the shooting, with the exception of the Nevada game. I got a chance to see he had 3 threes. I think that's only his 7th all year. But he is a very, very talented, multi-dimensional player. If he can make some of those shots, it's going to dramatically change how this team looks.
Butler tries to go inside to Tomajic. They're going to say it went off the Broncos, so it's going to stay here. And here's a look at Butler in high school, and man, Reggie looks young. I don't care if there are no threes or not. It's still a pretty cool thing to say that you
passed Reggie Miller? I guarantee you did not pass Cheryl Miller.
I think you are correct.
That is great defense. Good job. Not helping on offense, but makes it up on defense.
Well, as you alluded to earlier, they need to get some stops here. The Broncos do on San Diego State if they're going to come back from 12 down here in the second half. Alston from the top gets another one. That's 24 now for Alston. His 5th 3 of the game as they're trying to chip away. The San Diego State lead now down to 9.
It's really interesting to watch Leon Rice and how he's adjusted his personnel based upon who's playing well and how he needs to play to get back in this game.
They're going to call another foul on Rice. Looked like he had the ball. They're going to call one more. This lead in single digits for the first time since the 9:16 mark of the first half.
But last time down, Boise played perfect basketball. Penetrate, kick, move the ball side to side. And Alston didn't shoot the first time. He wasn't altogether all that open. He moved the basketball one more pass, then he got a wide open look.
Shackle on Rice.
That's the second one like that he's taken today, and he hasn't made either. Shackle seems a little bit frustrated offensively.
Kind of leaning in, trying to draw that foul, it seems like. Boise State on the move right now. Good take by Dutrieve. And we are now at a 7-point lead for San Diego State. Been waiting for this momentum to switch a little bit, and it looks like it has.
Well, look, I'm going to credit 2 things. I mean, this coaching staff, I think, has done a really good job, and the players have adjusted as well. So you get it to the weak side to Max Rice. Well, he was hunting shots to start the game. Instead, he makes the extra pass to the corner. But again, the reason that it works is they're starting on one side, they're getting some dribble penetration, and San Diego State kind of over-helps. And that allows you on the weak side to get closeouts, and now you can get kind of whatever you want within the defense. In the first half, they were just trying to go power on power, just, beat up San Diego. I can play take-em ball. That doesn't work against this defense. You're playing into their hands.
Starting to share now 12 total assists in the game for Boise State. Derek Alston Jr. really starting to heat up now with 24 points. Dutrieve with 10. Those are the only 2 Broncos in double figures. Leon Rice, the all-time winningest head coach in Boise State history, has his Broncos within 7. And you can see full court pressure here from Boise State.
What a play.
Mitchell comes up with it. Ball comes out of bounds. Right in our kitchen here, Doug.
These dudes are competing. Emmanuel Acot's going to get the basketball and didn't get it across in 10 seconds. You look at and it's a pretty easy for Chris Rastetter, the official. The ball's deflected. Watch this. Just lay out. Go get it. Now Mitchell gets it back just in time, kind of fortunately so. He actually traveled right there. But there's there was only 20 seconds on the shot clock, which means it took him more than 10 seconds to clear across midcourt.
Here's Rice, guarded by Gomez. Acot from deep. Got it! 52-48. 4-point ball game here at Viejas Arena, and this is what we expected, Doug Gottlieb. And another turnover forced by the Broncos. You can see the emotion on the face of Derek Alston Jr. Here comes Boise.
Just a little old school penetrate, kick, hit some jump shots and climb up in them defensively. Broncos cut it to 4.
Millions of kids nationwide are without their normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. That's why Fox Sports and Good Sports are restoring play for kids and the programs to serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Text PLAY to the number on your screen to help keep kids in the game. Since San Diego State led 37-20 at the 17-37 mark of the second half, Boise is on a 28-15 run.
Well, Emmanuel Acot has been the reason. At the point of the press, he gets into Matt Mitchell, steals the ball, then he dives on the floor, and then Mitchell recovers, and they get a deflection. Then they get another turnover, and they're driving and kicking. They're being patient offensively, not attacking the first side as they were in the first half. And all of a sudden, we got ourselves a basketball game. And look, credit Leon Rice. Watch this. This is Trey Pulliam trying to keep his man off, and they're just in him defensively. I mean, forget about the turnover. Pulliam picked up the ball in the coffin corner. You never pick it up there. Just kind of proving they're a little bit out of sorts right now for San Diego State.
One of the things they did so well in the first half is... Oh, that hits another 3! It's a 1-point ball game. Broncos doing a tremendous job here in the second half on both ends of the floor. Pulliam over the head of Gomez as he loses the ball falling out of bounds. Another turnover for the Aztecs.
You got to get... Trey Pulliam's got the look on his face. He's a little shook right now. He's got to take a deep breath and get it together. You see the ball moving. Emmanuel Acot was awful from 3 the first 2 months of the season. Going to the Nevada game, he's shooting 14%. A little heat check jump shot. And he was only shooting 28% coming into this game.
There's also another deep 3. That's off the mark. Mensah with the rebound. Now it's Mitchell with the ball for San Diego State.
And they figured out how to guard Matt Mitchell. Keep him out of the lane. When he gets to hit your chest, he wants to spin. Now they're switching ball screens, which they haven't done. They've adjusted completely the way they're playing.
There's Mitchell with a little step back, gets it to go.
There's a bucket. He can play a little bit.
Mitchell.
Let's see if Boise, and by the way, if I'm San Diego State, you can press back because Boise doesn't really have it. Emmanuel Acot's playing the point. He ain't really a point guard.
Foul called on Mitchell.
I mean, this looks like a completely different basketball game.
Unbelievable.
Boise came out and they were going under ball screens and playing very tentative and a little bit selfish on offense. And San Diego State did anything they wanted in the first half. Anything they wanted. Now all of a sudden San Diego State, they look tight against the press and they're chasing Boise all over the place. We'll see if they continue to move the basketball with Armish in the game.
San Diego State now with 12 turnovers in the game as the Broncos cranking it up on defense. Rice with the three in and out over Gomez. There's Polian going to slow it down for a minute. Shackle. Quick shot from deep. And the Broncos setting things up, down by 3. Dutrieve.
Dutrieve should have gone up and finished that one. Even though Mensa's in there, he would have gotten fouled.
Trying to get it to Armish. Goes out of bounds. Going to stay Boise State's ball.
Going back to Ray J. Dennis, who's more of a driver and mid-range scorer than Max Rice. I like the idea of Rice in that you're committed to making sure you know where he is because he's a shooter. He just hasn't made one. Dennis is a much better athlete defensively.
Jab over Mitchell, and again, it's a one-point ball game. You know, Doug, the one thing that Boise State has played lately are close games. They, of course, swept Utah State, knocked them out of first place, but they've played close games. San Diego State hasn't done that.
There's been some all-timer close games between Boise and San Diego State in this league, and for a league championship on the line, feels like we're going to have one here.
Polian cut off on the baseline, back out to Mitchell. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Mitchell pulls from distance. No good. Shackle with the rebound. He goes up, gets fouled.
What a great play from Matt Mitchell and Jordan Shackle. Shackle's, he's struggling. He's hitting 3 in every game this year. Hasn't hit one so far today. But getting an extra possession and 2 extra shots here for his team, that's big-time offensive rebound.
When Shackle scores 15 points, San Diego State is 12-1. This is his first point of the night. Last time San Diego State trailed in a game in the second half, January 16th against Utah State.
One of their
game they lost.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to get Matt Mitchell a quick little break here for the under 4 timeout.
Seiko, senior sniper, checking into the game for San Diego State. Checked out, Seiko Jr. So many seniors on this team, you just expect them all in their final year. Nice pass, wraparound pass to Armish. Finishes Ray J. Dennis. Good look.
I'm going to disagree with you. I don't think it was a particularly good pass because he wasn't open. It looked cool, but Armish somehow made a play.
I'm all about the style points.
All right, you're good. It was definitely cool.
56-55, cool or not, it turned into 2 for the Broncos. Polian pulls up on Dutrieve. Austin Jr. comes up with the rebound. Johnson in the game. Trying to check Alston. Armish down low. Good ball movement here from Boise State. Here's Polian. Shackle with the follow in and out.
Now, you're Boise right now. They've got San Diego State moving, and obviously you're going to see an ATO and after timeout play, but boy, they're right there. But can you take the lead? Can you get one more bucket? Ray J. Dennis. Dan Helly likes it. Armush finishes.
It was perfect.
Aztecs up 1.
Early in the second half, San Diego State was up by 17. They are now up by 1 as the conference leaders have finally gotten things going. The Broncos cranking up the heat. And this is new in the last month or so for the Aztecs. During this 8-game winning streak, they have never trailed in the second half.
Well, it's like Ivan Drago, right? He's not a machine. He's a man. Not a machine.
Oh, little Rocky on it, Gottlieb.
Bleeding a little bit. Let's see if can Boise take the leads. No fun when the Rabbits got the gun. See if we can get a bucket here. Double flare screen and didn't even look up.
A.J. Dennis here trying to get Austin Shaver back in the game. Aycott, little step back guarded by Johnson, too strong. And look at Mitchell just going up and getting that board.
And Armish had position and had a smaller Butler on him. Boise could not get the lead.
Mitchell calling for the ball, guarded by Armish. And they're going to call the foul on the ground on the big fella. 2:51 to go. Number 1 against number 2 here at Viejas Arena. Boise State, 3 games to go, including this one. San Diego State, 3 games as well. Both teams control their own destiny.
And I think if you ask Leon Rice, he made a mistake there. He went back to Armish and Shaver, 2 starters. They ran a play out of the timeout for the best player in the league, Derek Alston, and Shaver didn't even look at it. And, you know, it's like, these are the dudes that brought you back, that competed. And I understand the guys get tired. You come off a timeout, like, put the dogs back in the game, which he did. It's just 1 possession. It might have been 1 possession too long.
Mitchell, an 82% free throw shooter, makes them both 3-point ball game. San Diego State up, 2:51 to go. See what the Broncos can do here. A.J. Dennis, guarded by Butler.
Missed him.
9 to go on the shot clock. Baseline move.
Oh, just missed the layup. I mean, a beautiful move by Kidjab.
Kidjab just could not get it to fall. The second leading scorer and rebounder for the Broncos this year. And that's going to be another turnover from San Diego State. Mitchell not happy about it.
Well, he kind of threw his arms up in the air, kind of almost like a little flop and flail to say I was getting held. And because they didn't call it, he wasn't able to get his hands to catch the basketball.
Kidjab
missed another layup.
I'm going to call the foul on Boise State.
Kidjab, 2 straight really good looks. Threw his head back. Oh, boy who cried wolf, and now he gets called for the foul, and San Diego State will get some free throws.
Never really fully had the ball going up there. That was tough.
Now, the one, you know, it's one of those, because he missed the layup, the possession before, you almost knew he's going when he gets it. All right, this time I'll make it. Keyshawn Johnson, who's really accepted his role. Last year, the freshman struggled sometimes shooting the basketball. Still struggling some, but become much more of a cutter and a screener this year.
Career at 15 against Wyoming, the best athlete on this team. 3-point ball game. Aycott. Armish coming out to set the screen for Alston. Shoots and rises up over to Majic to tie it up at 58. 1:34 in the game. Timeout called, and this is what we signed up for tonight, my friend.
He hit the hit him with the Luka step back. That little extra space, and he's going against a good defender. You get a little bit extra space through your legs twice, crossover, step back. There ain't no defense in the world that stops that. Look, buckets.
So easy. 27 in the game for Alston. 10 of 18 from the field, 6 of 13 from distance.
But watch the step back to the left, just enough space. Got those long arms, extra high arch. He took over this game to start the second half, and it kind of changed the tenor. And then Abu Kidjab, Emmanuel Acott, Dutree, they started getting after it defensively, driving the basketball. But credit Derek Alston for waking this team up. They had 17 at the half. A team that averages 78 a game, 17 at the half, 11 turnovers. Couldn't have played worse.
20 points in the second half for Alston.
Well, he had 10 in like a two-minute stretch. I mean, this is what it was like. You know, they had no offense in the first half. And then he just kind of got it going. You know, catch, shoot, three. Now he gets with the dirt fade away. Little flare screen three. Now he's feeling. Oh!
You love that.
It's the...
He just looks like an NBA player
Yes.
to me. He moves like an NBA player.
Yes.
He's built like an NBA player.
Yes. And he took over the game like an NBA player.
Indeed he did, my friend.
It's one of the things, you know, he came back unfinished business. Couldn't get any workouts last year because of COVID. Decided to come back and wanted to get to a tournament.
Pulling inside to Mitchell, and he's fouled.
What a great set. Okay, so in basketball, we call this an ATO, and after a timeout, you want to run a set. And they've gotten, this is the second layup they've gotten. Just a little diagonal screen. Nice shackle. And Mitchell, who, you know, I don't even know if he can dunk, but it doesn't matter. He gets Kidjab on his back, excuse me, Acott on his back, and holds the angle. So he just catches and goes up.
Such a nice pass from Pulliam, too. Acott kind of swiped at him, but he was just too late.
Well, he got caught, he was behind his hips.
Yeah. I want to apologize to the Mitchell family for Doug saying that he couldn't dunk, but
It doesn't matter. They award 2 points when the ball goes in the basket. You can dunk or can't dunk.
1:12 to go. 3-point ball game here. Alston, deep. Pulliam. Amish just kind of walked away from that rebound.
No, he was too busy throwing. No, he threw Tomic down.
Under a minute to go, 3-point ball game. San Diego State was shackled using the screen, and Amish comes up with the ball. Shackle turns it over. Alston on the drive. He's fouled. He'll be shooting 2, a chance to pull them within 1. 28 seconds left.
And he knew that was a golden opportunity, a chance at an and one. He's mad at himself for not finishing that shot. But beautiful how they just get it to him in transition, and Pulliam gets on his hip. He drives in and draw the foul, and could not be more upset with himself. That, of course, the coach, professional basketball coach, coaching the G League.
Westchester Knicks. Alston an 85% free throw shooter. 11th on Boise State's all-time scoring list. Came into the game 87 behind Chandler Hutchinson, who plays for the Chicago Bulls. Also such a great story. Talked about how frail and small he was when he came in. Averaged less than a point per game his first full season with Boise State. Came into this one averaging 17.7.
Now, if it's me, I'd probably foul Tomic. He's 75% free throw shooter, but he's only a freshman. That would probably be the guy. They're leaving him wide open. He has a dunk if they look up, and they turned it over.
Oh!
Tomic was wide open. Derek Alston did know he was wide open. He could have had a dunk.
Here's another look.
And Matt Mitchell just tried to rush it and get it in. You don't throw it to a guy in the corner. And as good as Gomez is, you know, he's not a point guard. And some of that's on Mitchell for rushing it, not looking up, but a lot of it is on Gomez. You got to step into the defensive player. You got to be physical, catch the ball. You're a great free throw shooter. Instead, he goes away from, he doesn't meet it.
And you have to wonder if this is a product of them not having close games during this 8-game winning streak. They've just been blowing everybody out. I know it's an experienced team.
They just can't break a press. trying to see who it went off of. That absolutely went off of Gomez. You watch Gomez tipped it a second time. They're going to review it, obviously, by rule, under 2 minutes. Now, be cautious of Boise State using Derek Alston as a screener, because you're not going to leave him. Whoever guards him going to, stick to him like peanut butter sticks to bread, right? Right on. You do like peanut butter, Joe.
Who doesn't?
Okay, well, there are people out there, people that are allergic to peanut butter. No, I mean, they're allergic to peanut butter.
That's fine.
Allergy.
That's fine.
So, cautious of Derek Alston as a screener and hitting. If he sets a good screen, whoever he screens for is going to be open. If they switch, of course, that's when slip actions are open.
Who are you going to if you're not going to Alston? Who do you want him to be screening for?
Well, I mean, the good thing is I think Kijab's a better finisher than those two shots. These guys can all finish. I'm interested in the lineup that he uses. Does he use Shaver's got quick hands and is an attacking, scoring kind of a bucket as a point guard? You have plenty of weapons. Let's see who he comes out with. Dutrieve is more of a driver.
The only other player in double figures on the court right now.
He's got Acott as well. This is like the fun stuff. You get to drop a play. Remember, only 20 on the clock because the... What was that?
Wow. Trying to go to Alston. He was being guarded by Mitchell.
I understand, but that was the play to get it to Derek. Just throw it to Derek. We call the timeout to say we're going to throw it to Derek Alston. Okay.
Such a golden opportunity for Boise State. San Diego State now takes over. 28 seconds left on the clock. 1 point lead for the Aztecs. Pulliam set to inbounds.
Smart play by Matt Mitchell. Just got into Derek Alston's body and drew the foul.
Here's another look at that inbound.
Just stand there with your hand up. That doesn't work, dude. There's nowhere to throw it. They got Tamajic on the basketball. And you have your point guard, Shaver, taking the ball in bounds. He can't see. Matt Mitchell's 6 of 6 from the line. Very good free throw shooter.
Just over 85% on the season.
Now with 27 seconds to go, you don't have to take a three here. You want to get it. I would get that ball moving because San Diego State's defense is going to overreact to Derek Alston. They're going to run at him. We talked about Reggie Miller. They're going to treat him like Reggie Miller, which will leave plenty of openings. You've got plenty of time. You shouldn't attack to the second or third side of the defense.
Makes the second, so it is a three-point game. Dutrieve with a couple of threes. Acott also with three-pointers in the game. 22 seconds on the clock. Boise State down by 3. Down to 11. Dennis from the top of the key. Got it! Got it! We're tied up at 63. Ray J. Dennis hitting the three-pointer. His first 3 of the night ties things up.
Ray J. Dennis, I'll just take things to my own hand. He does have a mismatch because he has a big guy on him. But if you've watched Boise State basketball during his 2 years playing for the Broncos, you say, no, that's the worst part of his game. He's a 27% free throw shooter, a three-point shooter.
Just 29 threes on the season, and perhaps none bigger than that one. Wow.
Well,
17-point spread. San Diego State looked like they were going to run away with it beginning of the second half. Tied up.
Now if you're Boise, you want to press here. You don't want to get somebody to get a running start, and the pressure has really, you want to foul because you're in the double bonus, but you want to press. Keep everybody in front of you, especially if it's a bit of a zone press. But because right now Brian Dutcher is drawing up a play. Hey, we're gonna get in the front court. But oftentimes coaches, and Dutch has been doing this a long time. He used to draw the plays from Steve Fisher going back to the Michigan days. A lot of times you get caught up in what I'm running in this side of the court, right? But you got to get the ball to the front court, and they have struggled with the full court pressure of the Broncos.
Look at the last 2 games on the schedule for San Diego State. They have one more with Boise and then UNLV to wrap up the regular season next week.
And how about that? Hey, we got to go do this again. You get one day off, then you got to go do it again.
Under 10 seconds to go. All tied up at 63. Doug says Boise State needs to pressure. San Diego State has not lost in 8 games.
They're trying to figure out if that was a 3 or a 2, and they're struggling. The DV Sport, they're trying to see if they have better, if we have better angles. Oh, it's really close. I can't tell. I mean, it's really close.
It is.
And it has to be definitive to change it, right? Let's look at his right foot. That's a pretty good look. Oh, his leg is blocking it.
You can't see him from that angle.
You can't see it, and they're struggling to find it too.
The officials were over here looking at our monitor.
Let's see if we can freeze it right at the step, right? I can't tell.
Again.
It's so close. Leon Rice is looking at me like I'm going to make the call. I don't know. But if there's no definitive proof, right, you got to stick with the call that was on the floor.
Right. Well, both of them are partially blocked, and they're looking over at Gottlieb for a little help. They were over here.
A little help over here
for the officials, and
you just think, I don't know. Like, can you tell? All right, let's see from this angle. You can tell. That's really close. I mean, look, from that angle, it does look like he's on the line.
He might have a toe on the line.
But it's so close. This is why I'm against guys wearing black shoes. Wear white shoes, you look quicker, and we can see if you step on the line. They called it a 3.
I learned something new about you tonight.
Yeah, black shoes, the only way to wear black shoes. Luka Garza needs to get rid of the black shoes.
Officials just came over and just said it's
not indisputable.
Not indisputable. They can't overturn the call on the floor. You agree with them, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's really close.
Well, you couldn't have asked for a better game. 9 seconds to go. We're all tied up. First place and second place team in the conference.
I would trap him. I would run at Matt Mitchell. He gets ahead of steam. He's
Tomaya checks the screen.
Mitchell! What are you doing?
He just put the forearm out there.
Well, I mean, Tomaya's probably fouled at midcourt. Watch this. That's probably a little leg whip foul, and then
just the forearm shiver from Mitchell.
Well, I mean, look, Mitchell gets into your body. That's what he does. He goes into his spin, and they've done a great job of adjusting.
Look like J.J. Watt coming off the edge in his heyday with that forearm.
You got to get to guys on the move.
2 seconds on the clock. Ray J. Dennis.
That goes, I go.
Wow. Oh. Heart's beating quick, buddy.
Oh. Look, San Diego State has a history of closing games. They have an amazing record closing games. That was about as bad a closing job outside of Matt Mitchell hitting the free throws. That was about as bad of a job closing out a game as you're going to see. Brian Dush. Look at his face. That's exactly how we all feel.
A little free basketball. Let's send it to the studio with Rob Stone and Steve Lavin. All right, Stoner, might be a minute. I don't know. This one could take a while. Turned into a heck of a game. A 17-point lead by the Aztecs was erased here in the second half. Boise State coming in as the top team in the conference. Ties it up, and we are going to overtime. We've talked about this a bunch tonight as we look at the standings. San Diego State just half a game back. Both of these teams controlling their own destiny. They win the final 3 games of the regular season, and they are regular season champs.
Remember, they play again on Saturday. So if you like this game, good. They're going to do it. They're going to do it again, and it's a 1 o'clock game. And I know you're sitting up here like they're college kids. Like, this is an incredible game in terms of the effort and the energy expended. Now you got to come back and do it again. I'll be interested to see how Leon Rice adjusts his lineup. He's gone back to his starting lineup here to start overtime. But this is not the lineup that brought him back in the game. Armush has been fine. He's not bad. But he doesn't give them the ability to beat a guy off the bounce. And taking him off the court opened up the lane some for penetration. Dutrieve getting a lot of minutes.
Yeah, Dutrieve has played 29 minutes. Second only to Alston. Armush has played 29 as well.
San Diego State 21-2 in the last 23 OT games. This is the first overtime game of the year for both teams.
Listen, they're here because of Alston. 22 points in the second half. 7 of 10 from the field. San Diego State going to get the first crack at putting points on the board here in overtime. Mitchell, spin move, pump fake, up and in.
He did a better job of not getting that forearm shiver out. And then he was very patient offensively, something that the Aztecs have lacked here.
Aycock. Here comes Mitchell again. Over to Gomez. Shackle pulls. Got it. San Diego State up by 5.
And Shackle's hit a 3 in every game this season. He has that kind of quick, gets it up on the way up jump shot.
Alston knocked down, three-pointer short. Ball's knocked out of bounds. And there's your flop call.
Yeah, they do this.
Yep.
It's the what was it, 2 hands extended, like kind of upward in the air, and it's like telling you to get up. That's called a flop call. It means they didn't believe that Derek Alston got hit on that jump shot.
Mitchell again. Little double clutch gets to go. Mitchell taking over overtime here.
Yep.
Seven-point game, now back to a 5-point game. A.J. Dennis tied it up. First bucket of the game in OT. And there's Polian, his first basket, seemingly in forever. He had 16.
It's like San Diego State all of a sudden is like, oh yeah, hey, we're actually really good. Let's play basketball again. If they forgot for a good 7 or 8 minutes there.
Another three-pointer off the mark.
Good job. But for Derek Alston to get 1 touch here so far in overtime, right? 1 touch, 1 shot.
Shackle over to Mitchell. Works his way over to set the screen. This is Mensah out on the perimeter. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Polian with another little runner. That's short. Boise State gets it up ahead. Couldn't decide whether he wanted to dunk it or lay it in. And that's Dutrieve on the miss.
Dutrieve and Kijab have missed 3 of those, right? Dead layups, ball just slips out of their hands. Now, once again, San Diego State in prime position to close this thing out. Let's see if they can do it.
Under 2 minutes to go now here in overtime. Mitchell on Alston. 2 of the best players in the conference. Mitchell off the mark. Here comes Alston. Pulls up. That's too strong. Still 7 points. And Mensah is fouled. Just 1:38 to go now. And you're right. San Diego State came out in this extra frame, and they have done just about everything right so far.
Well, I mean, Matt Mitchell he wanted that smoke and he took it. I'm going to take over this game. And then Trey Pulliam finally kind of relaxed. Looked like he was back in rhythm after getting, and Jordan Shackle hitting 3. That changes them. He hadn't done anything the entire game.
Mensa short on the first. For those of you tuning in to watch Washington State and Arizona, it's currently on FS2 and streaming on the Fox Sports app. We're going to get you out there right after the conclusion of our game here in San Diego.
This is why they fouled Mensa. He's the only poor free throw shooter for the Aztecs. Shoots about a 58% clip this season.
Made 1 of 2 there. And it's an 8-point ball game with just over 1:30 to go. Here's Dennis. Spin move. In the lane. Goes up. Blocked by Mensa. And Rice called for the foul on Pulliam.
And you ask, well, why is Nathan Mensa in the game if he's not a good free throw shooter? That's why.
Game changer in the paint.
Just a rim protector. And can do so without fouling as well. Keeps it in bounds.
Pulling with that deep breath makes the first free throw. He's sitting on 17 points.
Well, he played so well in the first half, kind of dominated. Second half, and then, they shuffled through a bunch of guys, seemed to lose his rhythm. And then he walked into a buzzsaw with the pressure, turned it over a couple times, and seemed to kind of get out of rhythm. But he has regained it here in overtime.
18 points, ties a career high, does Pulliam. 1:20 to go. From the corner, air ball from Dennis. And San Diego State up by 10. Going to try to run things out here as Shackle's going to get fouled.
They call timeout.
Let's check in with Rob Stone once again in the studio. Rob?
Hey, Dan, right now over on FS2, Washington State, Arizona. Ben Mathurin was huge the first time these two met, 24-11, and he's got himself a nice little alley-oop early on there. 8-7 Arizona. Again, that one flips on over to FS1 when you guys are done with overtime in San Diego.
All right, thank you, Rob. 1:03 on the clock here in overtime at Viejas Arena and in OT, much like the first half. It's been all Aztecs.
It has. They've settled down. They've gotten the ball to their scores. They've gotten back into their high ball screen game. And as good as Boise was during the comeback, pressuring, moving the basketball, they've missed layups, they've missed open jump shots, and they've missed assignments in the defensive end. It's almost like San Diego State's had to beat the Broncos twice so far tonight.
Mitchell on the inbounds, then comes to get it. Races across half court and
turns it.
Proceeds to turn it over. So the Broncos going to have to do something quick. Down by 10, 55 on the clock.
We'll put Austin back in the game. They got all shooters around. Obviously, they didn't want him on the floor because of fouls.
Wait, shot by Boise State. Shackle will be going to the free throw line with 48 seconds to go. Look at the free throw disparity there. San Diego State has been living at the lot compared to Boise State tonight.
Well, it's interesting to watch these two teams. It'll be equally interesting to watch them Saturday to see how does Boise play? Do they get up and do they pressure the way they got back into this game, or do they settle back into their man-to-man? Do you play based upon who earned your minutes tonight? Look, I credit Leon Rice for playing the guys who are playing well. The coaches want teams and players that don't play with agendas, right? The coaches also can't have that agenda. You got to play who's ever playing well.
I asked him prior to the game is Dutrieve trying to do some work on Mensah. Key jab. Nothing going. Seiko going to let that out of bounds, and San Diego State will take over. They go 9 deep. They're one of the deepest teams in the conference. So it takes a while to figure out who's on and who's not. You can't just tell in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Right. It's also you gotta find who plays together. It's not just about you. It's about how guys play together. The pressure is giving San Diego State trouble.
Mitchell calls timeout.
I know what San Diego State will be working on in their off day. We're going to work on press break, boys.
How about one more check-in with Rob Stone? Rob, what do you have?
Dan, just want to give you a quick update. Still 8-7 Arizona as they host Washington State. That one can be seen live right now on FS2. As soon as you guys are done in San Diego, we'll bring you that Pac-12 encounter. But for now, back to Dan in San Diego.
Thank you, Rob. We talked about that 8-game winning streak that San Diego State had coming in. Boise State coming in having won 4 in a row, including a very impressive sweep of then first-place Utah State. And they came into this one playing their best basketball of the season. It was a huge, huge series win for them.
No question. Now, for San Diego State, you got to seal the deal. You got to just win here, close this thing out, then you got to win Saturday to leave no doubt. And if you're Boise, you got to go watch the film, get together, figure out who you're going to play and how you're going to play.
For Boise coming in, really worst-case scenario in terms of still having a chance to win the regular season. You have to split, worst-case scenario. So they're going to have to win on Saturday. They want to capture that regular season title. Of course, that's going to affect the seeding going into the conference tournament.
And I think they're in good shape with the NCAA tournament. Like, the only loss they have is to Houston, who's an outstanding. Kelvin Sampson's got an outstanding club. But in terms of seeding as well, could use another win, and they could use some wins in Vegas.
Dutrieve over Mensah.
That's 3 air balls in a row for Boise State.
Yeah, they have not been very effective here in overtime. And Mensah going to get called for the foul. So Kijab going to be shooting 3. 20 seconds left. Looks like San Diego State's in pretty good shape here. It was a valiant effort coming back to force overtime from Boise State. They just weren't able to get anything going here in OT.
And San Diego State being up 17, like, it's a great lesson. And some of this, I would say, I'm sure Brian Dutcher's going to say afterwards, some of that's on him. You know, you sub yourself out of momentum a little bit instead of going in for the kill.
And you have to love the way that Mitchell comes back in overtime and just takes over after the way things ended.
Turning the basketball over. Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's part of the culture of this program. And look, I understand you lost your best player from last year, guy drafted in the NBA draft. But when you have the culture of, hey, we're not losing. We're not losing. And that's the mentality these guys have. They have not lost a lot of basketball games the past 2 years.
47-6.
That was fun.
The last 2 years. That was great.
Yes.
Now 48-6 for Brian Dutcher's troops the last couple of years. A huge win over Boise State.
We're going to flip the standings? We're going to flip the standings? Flip the standings. Not going to flip. Oh, it's still there. Boise's still there because of the number of games played.
Well, that makes Saturday even much bigger. More important, my friend. Even that much more important. Doug Gottlieb, Dan Helly from Viejas Arena. Just a monster win for San Diego State in overtime. 78-66, the final score for the entire FS1 production crew. This is Dan Helly. Thank you for watching FS1 College Hoops. More to come.